Right now, in the summer of 2026, Arsenal are moving faster and more decisively than almost any other club in world football. The transfer window has barely opened, and already the pieces are falling into place for what could be the most important summer in recent Arsenal history. This is not speculation. This is not hope. The evidence is clear, the movements are real, and the decisions being made right now will define whether Arsenal can go from Premier League champions to genuine European dominators. Let us get straight into it. Arsenal just won their first Premier League title in 22 years. They reached the Champions League final. By any measure, that is a transformational season. But here is the reality that every serious analyst understands. Winning once is impressive. Winning consistently is legendary. And right now, the gap between Arsenal and the very best in Europe, specifically Paris Saint-Germain, who outclassed them in that Champions League final, is still real. The club knows it. Mikel Arteta knows it, and the transfer activity happening this very week tells you everything about how seriously they are taking the task ahead. If Arsenal get this window right, they become genuine title defenders and serious Champions League contenders. If they get it wrong, the momentum they have built could stall. The stakes could not be higher. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this, hit that subscribe button right now. Tessa Arsenal Analyst brings you the full picture every time. Starting with the confirmed moves, let us begin with what is confirmed, or as close to confirmed as anything gets before the official announcements are made. The first piece of confirmed business involves Piero Hincapié. It is now clear that Arsenal are expected to make his transfer permanent by triggering the £45 million purchase option from his Bayer Leverkusen loan. This is important. Hincapié joined Arsenal last summer on loan, and that option to buy was built into the agreement from the start. The fact that Arsenal are now moving to trigger it tells you the player performed well enough to earn that investment. What makes this even more interesting is that Barcelona were reportedly interested in Hincapié. That detail matters enormously. When a player on loan at your club attracts attention from Barcelona, it means other top European clubs have noticed what you noticed. Arsenal moved quickly to protect their asset. That is smart business. That is the kind of decisive action that separates title-winning clubs from the rest. The second piece of business is even more fascinating. Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Jeremy Monga, a 16-year-old midfielder from Leicester City. The situation is that Arsenal settled the personal side of the deal first and are now working to reach a financial agreement with Leicester City themselves. Journalist Nicolo Shearer confirmed this development, and it aligns with what was already being reported over the weekend, where sources described the move as virtually done. Now let us pause here and think about what this actually means. Monga is described as a wonder kid. He was born in 2009. He has made only 37 senior appearances for Leicester City. Yet Arsenal, the Premier League champions, have moved to sign him ahead of clubs including Newcastle United, who only recently joined the race. The England under-19 international plays in a Leicester side that has been relegated to League One. That context tells you something remarkable. This is a talent so significant that Arsenal saw no reason to wait, no reason to let another club gain ground. They moved early, they moved decisively, and they moved with confidence. You also have to consider the competitive environment here. Newcastle joined the race late. Arsenal had already been working on this deal since at least late May, when it was reported that the Gunners were confident of beating Manchester United and Manchester City to his signature. The fact that Newcastle entered the picture and Arsenal still landed the personal terms agreement tells you about the pulling power of this Arsenal project under Arteta. Now let us talk about the rumours, because there are several important ones. I want to be precise here because one of the most important things an analyst can do is separate what is confirmed from what is only being discussed. First, Bradley Barcola. It is important to be clear. The link between Barcola and Arsenal is a rumour at this stage. What we know is that France manager Didier Deschamps has urged his players to resolve their club futures before the World Cup begins. This came amid reports from Sky Sport DE linking Barcola to Arsenal. Deschamps himself did not name Arsenal or confirm any deal. What his comments tell us is that the uncertainty around Barcola is real enough that the France head coach felt the need to address it publicly. That is significant. When a national team manager steps in to tell players to sort their club situations before a major tournament, it means the noise around transfers has reached a level that could become a distraction. Arsenal are mentioned in that context. But at this point it remains a rumour. Second, Alex Scott from Bournemouth. Here the situation is clearer in terms of direction if not destination. It is reported that if Alex Scott leaves Bournemouth this summer, he is expected to move to a Champions League club. Arsenal are described as a definite possibility. Manchester United and Liverpool are also said to be interested in the 22-year-old. The key word in all of this is if. Scott leaving Bournemouth is not confirmed. His destination is not confirmed. What we have here is a strong indication of the direction things could move, but viewers need to understand this remains at the rumour and interest stage. Third, and this one involves a very important piece of context, the situation with Eli Jr. Krupi. The evidence is clear on this one, and it points firmly in one direction. Bournemouth want a fee well in excess of £100 million to sell Krupi. The club view him as not for sale. Their new manager Marco Rose has arrived following the departure of Andoni Iraola to Liverpool, and the club have already lost key centre-back Marcos Senesi. Bournemouth are not in the business of selling their most exciting talent on top of that. The asking price of well over £100 million is effectively Bournemouth saying, do not bother. And yet Arsenal and Liverpool are both mentioned as clubs who have been linked. The reality for both clubs is straightforward. Unless Krupi himself or his representatives push for a move, this transfer will not happen this summer. Even the previous manager, Iraola, when still at Bournemouth, publicly stated that he believed the club was the best place for Krupi to continue his development. So while the interest may be genuine, the availability simply is not there at a realistic price. Arsenal will need to look elsewhere for attacking reinforcements. The Morgan Rogers situation. Now this is one that deserves careful attention. Arsenal are reportedly interested in multiple Premier League midfielders as they look to add more verticality and directness to their squad. The name at the front of that list is Morgan Rogers. He is described as a firm target. The reasoning behind this interest is analytical in itself. Arteta is known to value players with Premier League experience and a proven track record in English football. That is not a vague preference. That is a deliberate recruitment philosophy. Arteta and his staff understand the demands of winning the Premier League better than almost anyone right now, and they want players who have already proven they can operate at that level. The situation is that Arsenal could sign more than one proven Premier League player this summer. That suggests the recruitment team has identified a clear gap in the squad. The lack of verticality and directness in midfield was visible at moments last season, and the club are now actively addressing it. Morgan Rogers represents a player who brings that energy. But the interest in multiple players in this profile tells you that Arsenal are not putting all their eggs in one basket. If one target becomes unavailable, there are alternatives ready. Declan Rice and the World Cup. Now let us move to something that directly concerns one of Arsenal's most important players. Thomas Tuchel has confirmed that Declan Rice will serve as England's vice-captain for the 2026 World Cup. Tuchel made this clear in his own words, stating that Rice had been acting captain when Harry Kane was absent from the squad back in October, and that is when the conversation about his vice-captaincy role was formalised. This is significant for Arsenal on multiple levels. A vice-captaincy at a World Cup is a major responsibility. It means Rice will carry both personal and professional pressure throughout the tournament. For Arsenal supporters, the immediate question is simple. Does this add to his importance and his value? The answer is yes. A player confirmed as vice-captain of England at a World Cup is a player whose status and profile is rising. For Arsenal, keeping Rice happy, motivated and central to the project is now even more critical. He is not just a club captain in waiting, he is a national leader. That combination of responsibility and quality is exactly what top clubs are built around. William Saliba and the back concern. There is a health story here that Arsenal fans need to pay close attention to. France manager Didier Deschamps addressed William Saliba's persistent back issue directly. The situation is that Saliba has been dealing with this back problem for several weeks. Deschamps confirmed the medical staff are managing it carefully based on how Saliba feels day to day. What is important to note here is that despite this ongoing issue, Saliba played every single Arsenal match this season. He played the full 120 minutes of the Champions League final. That is extraordinary physical resilience. But the word persistent is one that every Arsenal supporter should take seriously. A back issue that has lasted several weeks without full resolution is not something to dismiss. Deschamps confirmed all 26 France players were available for their match against Northern Ireland, so Saliba is not in immediate danger of missing games. But this is a situation worth monitoring very closely as the World Cup progresses. For Arsenal, Saliba is arguably their most important defensive player. Any risk to his fitness going into next season is a concern that the medical and coaching staff will be watching carefully. Kai Havertz, Arsenal's warrior on the world stage. Now, let us talk about something genuinely positive. Kai Havertz produced a stunning performance for Germany in their World Cup group stage match against the United States of America. Germany won 2-1. Both of those goals were created by Havertz. He scored one and assisted the other. In 61 minutes of football, he created 3 chances, completed 88% of his passes, had 35 touches, and made 5 touches inside the opposition penalty box. FotMob gave him a rating of 8.2 and named him man of the match. This matters for Arsenal supporters for a clear reason. Havertz spent parts of last season under scrutiny for inconsistency. But performances like this on the biggest stage confirm that when he is fully engaged and confident, he is a genuinely world-class player. The fact that he created both goals for Germany in a World Cup match underlines his quality. Arsenal have this player, he is theirs. And watching him perform at this level should give every Arsenal supporter enormous confidence about what he can bring next season. Jurrien Timber, a painful but important update. This one is genuinely difficult to read as an Arsenal supporter. Jurrien Timber will miss the 2026 World Cup with the Netherlands. This has been confirmed. The medical staff determined that Timber had not recovered sufficiently from his groin injury to take part in the tournament in what was described as a medically responsible manner. This is heartbreaking for Timber personally. Missing a World Cup with your national team at this stage of your career is a significant blow. But there is also a practical dimension that Arsenal supporters cannot ignore. If Timber is not recovered enough to play in a major international tournament, what does that mean for his availability at the start of next season? The club will be monitoring his progress closely. The groin injury clearly remains more serious than some may have assumed. Arsenal will need to ensure they have sufficient cover and depth in the positions Timber occupies. This is not a crisis, but it is a situation that requires careful management. Bringing it all together, what does this summer mean? Let us step back and look at the full picture. Arsenal have confirmed or near-confirmed business with Piero Hincapié and Jeremy Monga. They are actively pursuing Premier League midfielders, including Morgan Rogers. They have been linked with Bradley Barcola and Alex Scott, though both remain at rumour stage. The Krupi situation, while exciting in theory, is not realistic at the price Bournemouth are demanding. Arteta is building with purpose, targeting players with Premier League experience and proven quality. At the same time, the club faces genuine concerns. Timber's groin injury is delaying his return and he has now missed a World Cup. Saliba's back issue needs careful management. These are the real-world challenges that run alongside the exciting transfer activity. The reality for Arsenal is that this is a club in the middle of a genuine transformation. They are not just winning trophies for the first time in over 2 decades. They are actively planning how to win again and again and again. The signings of young talents like Monga alongside established professionals like Hincapié tell you exactly the philosophy at work. Build for now and build for the future at the same time. Former professional Clinton Morrison described it perfectly when he noted that Arsenal need to keep evolving and improving. He pointed to the need for a striker to compete with Victor Gyökeres and Havertz, and a left winger following the possible departure of Gabriel Jesus. Those are precise, honest observations grounded in what the squad actually needs. What you are watching right now, in real time, is Arsenal doing what champions must do. They are not resting. They are not celebrating. They are working. Every piece of business, every negotiation, every transfer discussion is pointing toward the same goal: winning again, winning bigger. The evidence suggests that under Arteta, this club has found a clarity of purpose that was missing for too long. The transfers are smart. The player management is careful. The ambition is undeniable. This is the summer that could define the next chapter of Arsenal's story. And at Tessa Arsenal Analyst, we will be here every step of the way to break it all down for you. If you found this analysis valuable, subscribe right now, drop a comment below and tell me which transfer you are most excited about. And share this with any Arsenal supporter who wants the real analysis, not the noise. This is Tessa Arsenal Analyst. We will see you in the next one.